Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new in this channel, you are welcome. My name is Blessing, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you will be notified. If you find this video helpful at this end of the video, give it a thumbs up. So guys, in today's class we'll be learning how to make this gown you see me wearing. It's a short gown bustier with a yoke. So guys, if you want to know how to do this, definitely keep on watching and let's go. So guys, welcome back. Here are the materials I will be working with. This is the lace fabric and the doll face. Here is my skin mesh, is about half yard, and my hairstay. These are my instruments that I will be working with. So I will take this part aside like this, okay? I will be using pencil because my marker, I don't have marker for this moment. So now, first thing is to draw out a line. And this particular line will serve as my shoulder line and also a guide at the top. So now, the next step is to take my vertical measurements from the shoulder line down to my chest line, bust point line, under bust and waistline. So after ruling, I will just go ahead to label all my lines so that I will not be confused of the lines here. Just go ahead to label your lines. Here is my under bust measurements. And here is the waist. So now let's get started. So the first step is to take my shoulder measurement divided by 4. So the shoulder measurements I'm working with is 14. When I divide it by 4, I will have 7. Now I will come over to the chest line and repeat the same thing here. Then I will make a straight line with these points. So guys, after making a line, you can see it. Then I'll take my neckline. So for the neckline, I want a canoe neckline. So I will be coming out by 4 inches for the width. While for the depth, I will be using 3 inches. So I need a canoe neckline for this particular style. So it's all left for you. This depends on the kind of neck you really want. So for this particular one, I'm using a kind of canoe neckline. So that is why I marked like this. Then I will just connect it like so. So after connecting, I will go over to this line there and mark my shoulder slope by 1 inch because our shoulder, they are not straight, it's slanted. So to achieve that slant, you need to come down by 1 inch to achieve the slant, okay? Then you just connect it to the neck depth, the neck width, sorry. So now for us to achieve our armhole is to divide our bust measurement by 4 and mark it at the chest line there. Then you come over to this line here and divide what you have by 2. Just measure what you have like this and just go ahead to divide it by 2. Okay, just divide it like this and you mark it. Then from that line, that midpoint, you come in by 0.5 inches. You can as well come in by 0.75 if you want. So now I will use my French curve now to connect this line. But if you don't have French curve, you are free to use your free hand. Just ensure that these two lines, these 2 points, they meet each other. So it's not compulsory that you will have a master ruler, or how will I call it, a ruler like this. So if you don't have, please use your free hand to do that. Just connect your line like this, okay? Connect. So you can see that we have our armhole now. So now for the next step is to take my nipple to nipple measurement. Nipple to nipple measurement is 7. Then I will divide by 2. I will have 3.5. Then just measure your nipple to nipple measurement and have your accurate measurement. It's not that I'm using 3.5 and you will use the same thing. No, just go ahead to measure your nipple to nipple measurement, or measure your client, so that you will be able to have a perfect nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, so mine is 7, and when I divide by 2 I have 3.5. Then I will just draw my line like this after measuring my nipple to nipple measurement. Then now we should just take our darts. So for this part from the bust point here, I will come down by half an inch. I normally come down by 1 inch, but I decided to come down by half an inch on this one. So from that half an inch now, I'll come over to this under bust. From the side going to my center front, I will mark half an inch there. So I will repeat the same thing to the waistline, half an inch. Then for the other side, going to the armhole side, I will mark 1.5 inches. Okay, and I will repeat the same thing to the waistline as well. Then after marking, I will just go ahead to connect this line as a straight line there, like this. Okay, and also connect the other side. So now from this part here, I will just make a curve to meet this one. Half an inch will come down with, not too curving, sorry, not too curving, not too straight, not too curving. Okay, just a kind of, just connect it like this. Okay, alright, so I will just do that. I will do the other side like this. I will not too curve it. I will just make it kind of straight, or you can see. So this is it. So now guys, for this next step is to come to the shoulder measurement here. So I will first of all measure what I have. Then after measuring, I will divide it by 2 to have the midpoint, because we are interested in the midpoint. So now I will mark it there. So I will now connect it to the bust point line. So now we have a straight line here. So now it's for us to determine how high I want my bustier. So I normally come up by 1 inch, but on this very one I want it to be very high. So from this part here, from the chest line, I will come up by 2 inches. I wanted to come up by 1.5, but I realized that I want it high. So I later changed my mind and I marked 2 inches. So I'm crocheting from that point. I see that it's too low. I want it to be 6 inches from the shoulder to 6 inches. So I later add half an inch to it. So I make it 2 inches. Okay. So this part here is totally depends on your preference, how you want it that you will mark. Okay. If you decide not to show your cleavage, go ahead to mark 2 inches. If you decide to show it a little bit, go ahead to mark 1.5 or 1 inches. Okay, but I decided to mark my 2 inches, but I later discouraged that. I later how will I put it, it's too high for my liking, so I've already done it. So that is it. So it, like I said, is depends on you. So now I will go ahead to tighten this part. So I come in by half an inch on both sides. If you are very bustier, please come in by 1 inches. I'm not that busty, but if you are average, come in by 0.75. Okay, I'm not busty at all. So that is why I come in by half an inch on both sides. So now I connect this half an inch to meet my bust point line like this. So I'll connect the other parts to also meet the bust point line like this. Okay, now I've connected it now, so you can see that we have a sharp edge there and our bust is not sharp. So I will just go ahead to eliminate that sharp part by using the curve rule to eliminate that. But if you don't have a curve rule, please, you can also use your hand to do that. Okay, you can use your free hand. Okay, don't be discouraged. Use your free hand to do it. So now the next step, guys, that we've already created our bust darts, our darts. So now it's for us to create our neck line, because it's a sweetheart neck and the upper is the yoke. So now for the sweetheart neck, it also depends on you, how deep you want it. Like me now, I want it from this bust point now, I will come down by half an inch. Okay, from the chest line, from the chest line, I will come down by half an inch. That is how deep I want it. So now I will just create a kind of curve like a sweetheart neck from the one of the dart leg down to the half inch that I come down with. So I will just make a connection there. Okay, I'll make a connection. So I'll make it, you can see how beautiful it comes out. So now from this side, I will just connect the second dart leg to meet the armhole. Okay, to meet the armhole like this. Please guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Okay, if you are new here, please, I will encourage you to subscribe, and I will appreciate that. I will appreciate it a whole time. I will appreciate it so much. Just subscribe and also give this video a thumbs up if you like this video. Please share this video as well. So guys, now I will crochet my dart. I will first close my dart to know, because normally one dart leg normally higher than one, so I will just close it. You can see after closing my dart, you can see that this line, they are not equal. So you can see that, meaning one dart leg is longer than the other one. So I will just correspond the darts. I will correspond my lines so that I will correct it. Okay, just go ahead to crochet your dart leg. Because normally I think they are not equal. So by making it to be equal, you just need to close the darts, and you will see that they are not equal. You can see the other line here is no longer needed. So we are going to use the second side. So I will just adjust this dart leg to correspond with the line. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So that is it. You can see that the other one is no longer needed. So we are using the second one now. So guys, that is it. We've already created our neckline. So now it's for us to replace our darts and impute our sewing allowance. Now this is for the bust. I've replaced my dart and I added 1.5 inches for my seam allowance. So I'll come over to my under bust. I will repeat the same tip from this chest line down to the bust point line. So because these two, they are the same. Okay, because I marked my bust measurement at my chest line, so I copy it to the bust point. So now for my under bust, I will divide my under bust measurement by 4. Okay, you can see me doing that. I will divide it by 4. Then I will mark what I have on my under bust measurements. For you to have a very nice fit, okay, please impute your under bust measurements. Okay, so now I replace my dart intake and I'll mark it, and also add my seam allowance of 1.5. So now I'll come over to my waist and divide my waist measurement by 4. Then I will impute it and replace my dart and also add my seam allowance. So this is me marking my allowance for the waist. Okay, so I will just go ahead to connect all the dots together by using a straight ruler to connect it. So guys, we are done with the first pattern, so I will just go ahead to cut out my pattern. So guys, after cutting my pattern, this is what I have, and I will just go ahead to identify all the parts. Okay, so I will go ahead to cut out my yoke. So guys, I will just identify the yoke. So after cutting like this, so these are the fronts for the front pattern. So I will go over to the back and draft out the back. So guys, this is a fresh pattern, and for the back, first of all, I'm marking my zipper allowance by 1.5 inches. So I will just mark it, I roll it. So I've rolled it, then I will mark a starting point, just where we did at the front like this. From that starting point, I will mark from there to my chest line and to the waist. Okay, so I've marked my waist, then after that I'll just go ahead to rule all this line in a straight line like this. After ruling them, so from the chest line, for the shoulder, I marked my shoulder measurements and also come down to the chest line and did the same thing. With the front, actually, it's very simple compared to the back. Sorry, the back actually is very simple compared to the front. It's very easy to make for the back. Okay, so for me, I don't add that to my back. Okay, but if you are adding that to your back, go ahead to add that. So now for the neck line, for the neck width, remember we mark 4 inches for the neck width, so the two neck width must correspond together. So for the back, I come down by 1 inches because I'm not using this width of the back. I'm not using it. You understand as we proceed. So I will just connect it like this. I'll just use a curve ruler to connect it. So guys, after connecting, this is how it comes out. So now the next step is to take my shoulder slope 1 inches as well, and I will mark it, then connect it to meet this part here. So now we now have our shoulder slope. Now it's for our time to create our armhole. So I mark what I have here, and I will divide it by 2 like this, and I will mark. So guys, after marking now, I will divide my bust measurement starting from this line that you mark, from the zipper allowance line. Okay, that is where you start your measurement from. Then now I'll just connect to meet the point like this. Okay, I don't dip my back armhole. Okay, so this is how it comes out. So I'm reshaping it so that it will come out well. So guys, like I said, I will add my zipper allowance. Like I said before, that I will not add a dart to the back. I will not add that. So I added my seam allowance there. Then come over to this waist, and I divide my waist into 4, and I will add my seam allowance as well, 1.5 inches. So that is it. Then I'll just connect. So I've connected my lines, and for the yoke part now, we extend this part. So for the yoke part, I will, like I said, I'm not using this neck depth for my yoke. So For the yoke parts now, I will just come over to the to this chest to this midpoint, so this how would I put it, the neck width. Then I will just reel it straight down to the chest line. Okay, because I just feel like using this pattern. Okay, you just do the one that works for you anyways, but this is what I really want, so I'll just reel it down, and that part there will be my yoke. Okay, so I'll just roll it like this. Okay, after rolling, I'll just, like I said, this other part here is my yoke. I'll just write my yoke here. Then this other side now, I will cut it out. It's no longer needed. So that part now will be open at my back. So from the neck width, I roll it down. So basically we are done. I'll just go ahead to cut out my pattern. So guys, here is my back and the front pattern. You can see. So I will take them aside and let's draft the down parts. So guys, here is another fresh paper for the down part of the gown. So I will first of all roll it, I will first of all roll my straight line. Okay, and this will just serve as a guide for me. You're with a very straight line up here. So from this straight line, I will mark my vertical measurements. Remember, from the top we mark from shoulder to 16.5 inches. So from the down part now, I will minus that 16.5 inches. I will minus it out to get my full length of my gown. And the full length of the gown that I'm working with is 40 inches. Then I will add 1 inches to it, making it 41 inches. Okay, I added, my full length is 40 and I will add 1 inches, making it 41 inches. Okay, then I will mark it and I will roll it up. So for my waist, for my hip, sorry, then from the same point there, I will mark 24 inches. That is the length of my hip measurements, 24 inches. Then I will roll all these parts in a straight line. So guys, now I will just go ahead to write this part as my hem, and here is my hip line. Of course, the other part is the waist. So guys, this is the center front I will be doing first. So like I will use this pattern for my both the front and the back, okay, because I don't want to waste any pattern paper. So first of all, I will mark my zipper allowance, which is 1.5, because I gave 1.5 inches for the upper part. So I will repeat the same thing to the down part so that they will correspond together. So I will just mark my 1.5 inches like this and I will roll it up. So guys, now I have rolled my zipper allowance. Then I will take my measurements. So the first step is to take my waist measurement. The same waist measurement that I gave for the upper part is what I will put here. Okay, the same actual measurement, the actual number that I gave for the upper part for the waist. So I will repeat it here. Then I will add my that allowance and my 1.5 inches allowance as well. Okay, always replace your darts so that you won't have short fabric. Okay, so that is that, and I will add my seam allowance. So coming to this hip line, then I will mark my hip. Note that all these measurements that I'm taking, starting from the line, the straight line I mark, okay, because the zipper allowance is an allowance that we will take off later. So we don't need to start it from the zipper allowance, okay? Just from this line that we roll. I will divide my waist measurement, my hip measurements by 4 and add my seam allowance. So for the hip, what I have on the hip part here, I will deduct 2 inches from it and mark the hem part. Okay, what I have on my hip line, I deducted 2 inches to have my hem part. Hope you understand. So now I will just connect my lines like this. You can see. So guys, this is it. This is the front and the back. So when I want to place it on my fabric, now before then, I will mark my nipple to nipple measurement to create my darts for the exam part. Nipple to nipple measurement 3.5. So I will use the leg of 4 inches dart leg, 4 inches dart leg, and I will connect it like this. Then I marked 1 inches for my allowance from the dart. So that 1 inches I will divide it by half an inch on both sides of the dart leg. Okay, then I will connect it to the end part of the dart leg like this. So this is what we will take off later when we want to create our darts. So we take off 1 inches. Okay, like that. We've already replaced it. So we cut all this other upper part, we'll cut it off. So now guys, this is how it is. So when I will transfer to my main fabric, when I will cut the front, I will cut the front of fold, I will fold the front of fold, then I will, for the zipper allowance, I will fold it in to cut at the front. Okay, I will fold the zipper allowance in like this, then I will use it to cut out the front. So when I will cut at the back, I will bring the zipper allowance out to cut at the back. Okay, so it's for us not to waste our pattern paper. Hope you understand the gist. So that is it. So guys, that is it. I will just go ahead to cut out this pattern. So guys, this is it after cutting. These are all the pattern. I will just go ahead to transfer them to my main fabric. I've transferred my pattern to my main fabric, and this is the end for this tutorial. In my next video, I will post where I join all of them together. So guys, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and also turn on the notification bell and give this video a thumbs up. Share this video and also comment. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Love you guys all. Bye. See you in my next video.